What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy DMD, and guys, today I have a very, very special deck profile for you guys. I've been wanting to bring you guys this deck profile for a hot minute. It is my Masked Hero deck profile for November of 2017. So anybody who's anybody knows what Masked Heroes are. They know how the deck works, but I just wanted to bring you guys my deck profile of it. I wanted to do a little bit of experimenting with the deck because I know that because of Master Rule 4, you can't really do what you used to be able to do with the Toad play. You really just gotta sit on Dark Law now and just kind of play around with spells and traps. But I wanted to do a little bit more than that. So I'm gonna show you guys what I did with the deck, and I'm gonna get your feedback in the comment section below. You guys, let me know what you think of this deck profile. I'm amped, so let's get right into it. Alright guys, so starting off with the monster lineup, we of course have triple copies of Shadow Mist. You gotta have Shadow Mist. He's the dude who gets you into your Dark Law. Y'all know what he does. I don't even need to explain him. He's so good. You can't not love Shadow Mist. He's your main guy. He's your key to your boss monster. So, yeah. Then we got triple copies of Bubble Man. Some people don't like playing 3 of him, but because of the way this deck runs now, it's necessary. So, I'm going to explain a little bit of why later, but you really need to run the triple copies of Bubble Man now. Then we've got 1 copy of Vision Hero Vion. Vion is pretty much a Foolish Burial for heroes, so he can send your Shadow Mist, and then Shadow Mist will trigger. So he's just like a Foolish Burial. So that's pretty much all the heroes that you run. Alright, now to start off your supporting engine, we've got triple copies of Tin Goldfish. So Tin Goldfish is very imperative in this deck. I run 3 of him because he's a water that can special summon Shadow Mist. Because he's water, he can help us go into Mistar Boy. He is pretty much the best card of the deck other than our Shadow Mist. He's really good, and he is really efficient at extending our board, helping us get into our Dark Law, but also to get into our Mistar Boy. Then we've got 1 copy of Goblinberg. In case we don't open a Tin Goldfish, we can still search Goblinberg off of Rhoda to help us special summon our Shadow Mist and to get our mash change. Then we got Max C. While it's still at 1, y'all know you gotta run Max C. Max C is just Max C. And speaking of one-ofs, for our final monster, we got 1 copy of Gofu. I understand why this card got hit. It needed to get hit, but oh my god, opening Gofu in this deck can get you a really, really big board. Yeah, Gofu is a staple. As long as it's legal to play, I'll play it, even at 1. But that is pretty much it for the monsters. Our spells, we of course have triple copies of A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is just the way that we get into our Shadow Mist, and then after we get into our Shadow Mist, we search out our Mash Change. So Mash Change just allows us to go into Dark Law. Self-explanatory, really. We've got triple copies of E-Call. On to pretty much one of the most broken cards in the deck, Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion helps you get such a bigger board. After making your Mistar Boy, you can go and actually make an Ab-Zero from your graveyard on top of the Dark Law. I actually am not running Poly, and that's why, because Miracle Fusion is an objectively better card now that Link Summoning is a thing. So, moving on, we've got our 1 copy of Rhoda. Then we've got double copies of Instant Fusion. So Instant Fusion is not, of course, for our Norden, because Norden is banned, rest in peace, but he's actually for our Theseus. So Theseus is a water, and it's an Instant Fusion target. So in case you only have like 1 Bubble Man, you can still activate an Instant Fusion and then get into your Theseus. Then you can link summon off for a Mistar Boy and still be able to extend your plays. Definitely 2 copies of Instant Fusion. I almost might bump this up to 3 because it's really good. Then for more of our one-ofs, we've got 1 Soul Charge and we've got 1 Foolish Burial. Resolving Soul Charge is a win condition, like it just is, and then Foolish Burial will send basically anything we need to. 2 copies of Twin Twisters, because we do not want to deal with back row. Finally, for our spells, 2 copies of Pot of Desires. Now, I know a lot of people might not be sold on this card. This card is stupid. Like, it's such a good card. The +1 is too good, especially in this deck. If you draw into like a Miracle Fusion, oh my god, it's so good. The +1 cannot be overstated. Like, it's just, guys, if you're gonna play this deck, please run this card at least 2. It's really, really good. On to the absolutely cancerous trap lineup. We got 2 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. Anti-Spell is actually a card worth main decking right now because everybody and their mother is running around with Pendulum Magicians. So I would highly recommend running them right now. Double copies of Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike is a great card. 1 copy of D-Barrier. D-Barrier is great because it shuts down literally everything. It shuts down ABCs, Pendulum Magicians. Pendulum Magicians tend to be your hardest matchup, so it's really good. I also side deck some Dimensional Barriers, and ABCs are just kind of an auto win because DarkLaw just kind of doesn't let them have a graveyard. So pretty much, yeah, ABCs aren't really that hard to beat, but yeah, definitely Pendulum Magicians are a deck you kind of have to deal a little bit with, so the anti-spells and the D-Barriers are mainly for them. Then we got 1 copy of Mirror Force. Now, the reason I play Mirror Force, people might get confused, but if by any chance you see this card and you have a DarkLaw on board and your opponent attacks you, literally all of their stuff gets banished. This card is like a blowout because of DarkLaw. Alright guys, moving on to the extra deck. For our links, we have 1 Mistar Boy. Mistar Boy is really good because he's water and we can go into him with a Tin Goldfish and a Bubble Man. He's got perfect arrows, so y'all already know I gotta cop the Mistar Boy. And we've also got a Proxy Dragon, and we also have a Decode Talker. The Proxy and the Decode Talker are for Gofu if we happen to open with him, but in case we don't necessarily need them. Then, of course, the all-powerful, almighty boss monster of the deck, triple copies of Masked Hero DarkLaw. Your opponent can't search. Every time they do, they get a card banished. They have no graveyard. It's an auto win for Burning Abyss if they ever become meta again, which they probably will once they get their new Link monster. ABCs can't deal with this card. Yeah, it shuts a lot of decks down. Light Sworns can't deal with this card for obvious reasons. Yeah, DarkLaw is just too good. Then we've got 1 copy of Absolute Zero. You can go into this pretty much off your Miracle Fusion. This, with a Mash Change set, is godly. Because if you have a Mash Change in your hand, you can go into Ab Zero, Mash Change it, and go into this dude, Acid, and literally blow your opponent out. Because when Ab Zero leaves, you nuke your opponent's monsters, Acid comes on the field, you nuke their back row. So they literally lose everything with like 2 cards. 1 Contrast Hero Chaos. It's really hard to go into this dude post-Link format. Honestly, I'll be straight up, I play him because he looks cool as hell. And finally, for the final fusion, we play Theseus for instant fusion target. He's water, so he can help us go into our Mistar Boy, and that is good, so we want to run him in for sure. On to the Xyz. We have 1 Honor Arc, we have 1 Castell, a Tornado Dragon, and finally we have something pretty interesting. Now, I can't go into this a lot because post-Master Rule 4 it's kind of really hard to do so, but when I open with Gofu, I am typically able to go into this as well. We've got the 1 Bahamut, and we have, of course, the main man, the Toad. So yeah, you can't really go into him all that often anymore, but it is possible if you open Gofu. Now, of course, easier said than done, but if you open Gofu or Soul Charge, pretty much you are able to go into him, and obviously it's really worth it when you do, so I play him just in case. Alright guys, so that is my Masked Hero deck profile for November of 2017. Let me know what you guys think about this deck profile in the comment section below. It's me, it's that DMD, and your boy is